Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Angie with Accountable Living, and I do videos about passing the CPA exam, which is the Certified Public Accountant exam in the United States. I also do videos related to business, careers, accounting, finance careers, things you can do to help you get into the field. And today I'm going to do a video that was requested by one of my viewers, so thank you so much for this request. I'm going to talk about the things I look for on a resume when I'm hiring either for a staff accountant, senior accountant, a supervisor, an administrative assistant, an accounting clerk, an accounting associate, those type of job titles. So let's get right to it. I do have my Angie's List here, so just in case I don't want to forget anything, I always make a list. That's just what I do. So the things I look for on a resume. This is part one. Part two will be things I look for during the actual interview itself. So let's start with the resume. Okay. As you know, most bigger companies use an applicant tracking software that will track resumes and actually might, throw some resumes out if they don't have certain qualifications. Now, smaller companies like my own company and companies I've worked for in the past, we would just post a position and you will email your resume directly, or maybe you would upload it through Indeed or LinkedIn. So when you are sending your resume in for a smaller company position, we are able to see those resumes directly without using software like that. So if you are sending your resume to a smaller company, that means it's probably going to be seen by the hiring manager. Just keep that in mind. That's one thing I did a lot, is I would look to see if they're a small company or a big company, meaning you can do research through the internet to see if they're a small company. And you could even reach out directly after you send your resume. You could reach out directly to the company and just introduce yourself and let them know that you've sent a resume. On the resume, you want to be clear and concise and free of spelling errors. That is a big one. If I see on a resume misspellings, 2-3 times, I'm probably going to put that resume to the side. Also, if I see that it's just cluttered and there's just way too much on the resume and it's just not piquing my interest, I'm going to also put it to the side. So make sure you're hitting spell check, read it out loud to yourself, and actually have someone else review it and read it out loud to you also. That way you can catch any errors that might be there. I would like to see the IT skills listed at the top of the resume. And I'm not interested in like Microsoft Word, Microsoft, emails, things like that. I mean specific software that's related to the position you're applying for. So make sure if you've used accounting software, finance software, reporting software, that you have these listed. For example, QuickBooks Online Desktop, Xero Online, NetSuite, Workday, ERP software. If you've used tax software, Thomas Reuters, TurboTax, make sure you're listing these. If you've used reporting software, make sure you're putting that on your resume under IT skills. And also, if, for example, you're putting Excel, make sure you're telling me, is that beginners, advanced? And I like to see in the resume under the employment, where have you used that software? For example, you would say, utilized Microsoft Excel once a week to showcase pivot tables relating to open invoices. Something like that gives me an idea of how you used that software, okay? So to me, that's very important. Even if you haven't necessarily used it before, but you have gained a certificate in it. or you've taught it to yourself, still list it because you know how to use it. Also, when you're listing your places of employment, you want to put a sentence or two explaining what that company was. For example, I worked for a law firm in Charlotte, okay? That doesn't tell me anything. I always put a sentence under the name of the law firm, and I say, the largest law firm on the East Coast consisting of 250 attorneys. That lets me know that it was a large company, okay? If you work for a small accounting firm that has 3 CPAs, put that. Put the sentence under the name of the accounting firm. Like Agnes and Wood, CPA firm consisting of 3 CPAs and 5 staff accountants. To me, that lets me know that you have experience working in a small firm and you've probably done a ton of different duties, because in small firms, you're probably doing a little bit more outside of just your job title. And I like to see that. I like to see a combination. If you worked in law firms and small firms, then that lets me know that you are going to be able to adjust to my company. Another thing on my list, you also want to put any organizations or committees or clubs that you joined while you were in this person's employment. So for example, at the law firm I was at, I volunteered twice a year for Habitat for Humanity. List those things. If you volunteer to stay after once a month to help collect school supplies for needy schools in the area, make sure you're listing those things. That tells me that you are very interested in helping the community and being involved with not only work, but things that have meaning to you and have value to you, okay? Also, put things on the bottom of the resume for volunteering outside of work, so volunteering in your community. Again, Habitat for Humanity, school supply drives. You head up the committee in your homeowners association that collects monthly canned goods for the Boy Scouts. All of these things tell me that you are willing and able to contribute your time and energy to organizations and committees that mean something to you. Another thing I look for on the resume and is your LinkedIn profile. So I want to be sure that I can go to your LinkedIn and see that the things you told me on your resume match your LinkedIn profile. And I even like to look for posts that you've had or endorsements that previous coworkers have given you. If you do apply to a small organization or an organization where you have someone's email, the hiring manager's email, make sure you're sending a small cover letter or a paragraph or two explaining that you are very interested in the position, list the position, and that you have already accomplished doing these things that they've listed in their job description. Meaning, if their job description says someone that currently has their CPA and has worked for a non-profit for 3 years. Okay, if you have your CPA and you've worked for a non-profit, make sure in your cover letter or in your paragraph in the email that you're saying that. And also, if they list duties that you have done previously, for example, accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll, make sure you say that you have the ability and you have done these things for the past 4 years. This is telling the hiring manager that you've actually, 1, read the job description, and 2, that you already have some of the things they're looking for. And also, mention something about the company that drove you to want to put your resume, give them your resume. For example, I've researched your company and noticed that you twice a year allow your employees to take 8 hours and donate their time to the nonprofit of their choice. This is something that I also value, and I think that I would be a great fit for your company because we have some of those same values. And then the main thing that I'm looking for your resume and the paragraph or cover letter to convey is your willingness to learn. That means to me the most when I'm looking at a resume. All jobs are going to require on-the-job training. So if your resume conveys to me that you are willing to learn and that you are going to commit yourself to learning this job and you're going to be a valuable asset, then make sure that's conveyed in your resume. If you have experience training other people in your past jobs, make sure you're listing those. If you were chosen to train the interns, make sure you're putting that in there. That tells me that not only are you willing to learn, but you're able to help other people learn. And that is so valuable. I cannot stress how valuable it is to have someone on your team willing to teach and to train others, be it clients or new employees. Okay, make sure you are conveying that message. Even if the company hasn't asked for that, I would still actually put that in the cover letter or the paragraph to the employer, stating that you are willing and able to help train new employees or interns. And that company is going to, if they're like me, they're going to look at you more, because that is a trait that not everyone has. And don't lie, if you're a person that hates training people, leave that out. But I'm just saying that that is something that I look for and that I know that other companies value as well. So those are just a few things I look for on a resume. My next video is probably going to be about the things I look for during the actual phone interview or actual in-person interview, or both. I haven't decided yet. But all of these things, your resume, the way you speak on the phone, the way you speak in person, they all make the full picture, if you know what I'm saying. That completes the puzzle for me. So not just one thing's important. All of those things are important. So put your best foot forward and clean up those resumes. If you have any questions about resumes, put them in the comments below. And if you have a tip that helps my viewers, put that below also. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.